And we're live. The Metal Lab is here, and I am joined this week, a very busy week this week. I'm joined by PJ. Mike.
Hey, everybody.
And Jay.
Hello.
The brand new permanent cast, as it were. And we're going to get right into previews because we have lots to talk about in our weeks in Heroclix. Some more busy than others. So we thought we'd treat you to the previews before we told you our tales because they're quite harrowing and exciting and torturous in some cases. But without further ado, let's get rid of my face and start talking some Star Trek. Figures.com are the first out there with some of the previews from the main set of the Star Trek set. So we get a good look at some of the figures that we're going to see, and we're going to start, and we got it in figure order. They did a whole unboxing and whatnot. And we're going to start here with the Starfleet Security Officer. He's got the Starfleet keyword, and it's a generic figure, so it's got real name various. He's got the United Federations of Planets team ability. Those of you unfamiliar, it's very similar to the Avengers or Justice League team ability. When this character is given a move action, modify speed by +1. The Starfleet Security Officer has a trait, red shirt, love it. When an adjacent friendly character has 100 points or less or has a Starfleet keyword would be KO'd, you may instead KO Starfleet Security Officer. If you do, turn the friendly character to its last non-KO click. He has incapacitate on his 3-click 25-point dial. Starts with enhancement, goes to empower. PJ, what do you think of the red shirt Starfleet Security Officer?
I love this guy. I like the generic. I love the red shirt trait. Obviously, it's going to be banking on if anything is playable with Starfleet keyword. But if we get anything that's pretty solid in that point value, I could see this guy seeing some play with that. 25-point enhancement is okay. 6 range in cap is okay. So, I don't know. All in all, I think it's pretty average. I'm not going to say it's bad, but definitely not great.
Mm-hmm. Mike?
Yeah, if I ever had any intention of playing a Starfleet-related team, I would definitely throw one of these guys on. Very useful trait, very appropriate trait. Who doesn't mind a little bit of enhancement? With a 17 defense, it's not a bad actual defense on a figure like that. That number can actually hold up fairly well. And 6 range in cap again, like PJ said, that's not so bad. I just know I'm never going to play Starfleet. So if I did, I would definitely play this guy.
Jay?
Yeah, they covered it.
I do like the idea that it's 100 points or less or Starfleet. There may be those situations where I'm already not in a theme team and I have a sub 100 point character I kind of want to protect. Could also use enhancement. So I'm following PJ on the OK mark. That's for sure. All right. Next up, Ensign Chekhov. He's got the Starfleet keyword as well, and he's got a what you see is what you get dial with the Starfleet or with the United Federations of Planets keyword, or sorry, team ability. He's got prob off the start at 45 points, precision strike and running shot to go with it, 5 range. It's really what you see is what you get dial. Mike, your thoughts on Chekhov?
Make sure I didn't mute my mic again. Actually, again, pretending that I would play Starfleet, this starts to make me a little more excited, especially thinking about the red shirt. Playing the two of them together is only 70 points. He's running shot with precision strike of 5 range, which is not huge, but you can get some perplexes in there, I'm sure. Grabbing the enhancement from the red shirt, for 3 damage, precision strike. At 45 points, it's not a bad piece. He could definitely fill in well on there. I just obviously wish he had more keywords.
All right, Jay?
Yeah, he does things okay. Prob is nice. Not the easiest figure to pick off, and probably not going to see competitive play, I would imagine.
All right, PJ?
Yeah, it was pretty well touched on. It's 45-point prob with Starfleet keyword. I mean, that's the best way to look at it. We don't see any other lower point probs. I could see this guy making his way into some builds if he goes Starfleet.
Yeah. Worth mentioning, this set is a 5-figure booster set, so there will be sealed events with it. So this figure might stand out a little bit more in the sealed, the Star Trek specific sealed environment. 45-point prob, you can't say no to that, right?
Correct.
All right, the figure we all wanted to know about, without further ado, the tribbles. They have the animal keyword, yes, and they have the trait. They're all trait in this sense. The first trait, 50% of their metabolism is geared for reproduction. Free. If another friendly character has not activated the same effect this turn, generate another tribble. Tribbles have no teeth is the other trait. Opposing characters do not stop movement when becoming adjacent to tribbles and automatically break away from tribbles. And the next one, I want these tribbles off my ship. Characters not named tribbles modify their speed by -1 for each tribbles adjacent to them, and their attack -1 for each 2 tribbles adjacent to them. If they have the Klingon keyword, they also modify their defense -1 for each tribble adjacent to them. A little Star Trek in-joke for those who may or may not be familiar with it. Jay, what do you think of the tribbles?
They look decently annoying for the points, outside of if your opponent has poison, because then they just are giving away many, many points. I feel like this is the figure that is just guaranteed to see a lot of crit misses targeting it, because that's like the only way to miss against it. So be prepared.
PJ?
I actually think this has room on Kenny's Mistress Death build, because you need bodies. Just they don't need to do anything; they just need to be there so the Mistress Death doesn't die.
Mm-hmm.
So why not pay 5 points and just once a turn make a dude?
Yeah,
I think that's great. I think this thing could see play. I think giving up 5 points for teleporter spinning is good too. So they're tiny, so you can carry them around and make a tribble wherever you land. So I don't know. I actually think this could see some meta play.
all right.
I don't know what it'll do yet, but it could.
Mike?
Yeah, actually, I could totally see that. It's the only thing so far in the set that's really exciting, because at those low points and the ability to generate another one, I have a lot of different ideas. Definitely what PJ said about Kenny's team, I thought of that right away. Even now being able to build with the new Secret 6 trait about having exactly 6 people on your team at 5 points, you can, you know what I mean? You've got so much more room for 5 other figures on your team. Every time one of them goes down, you just pop a tribble out to keep yourself at 6 and keep it boosted. King Shark is going to want to be involved with that. I like this figure. I think there's a lot of possibilities to it, especially in this game now where having extra figures out there generates so many different things, and even losing figures, moving a teleporter along, all that kind of stuff. So yeah, I think there's a lot of potential here, surprisingly.
There's a lot of hidden value in this character. Do not overlook the tribbles for sure. I mean, I was immediately thinking what Mike had brought up with the Secret 6. You could feasibly play significantly less figures on your team to start throw tribbles on, get all the stuff you need ready to make a really big King Shark at some point who's backing up something also equal parts strong, and then have tribbles turn you into a 6-figure team within 2 turns. So
yeah.
This will be amazingly good when we hit the Lex Luthor meta, because just sit back in your starting area, pop him out for a while, and okay, I'm ready to go.
Another thing to look at that I just thought about, like not only mastermind fodder, but also to play more ID cards. This is a 5 figure.
Yeah, because it will add to the number of figures.
Yep.
Yeah, it's insane, the possibilities of a 5-point figure that can continue to generate figures to activate a variety of effects. Definitely don't ignore this character.
Yeah, you can play more than one main force if you really needed to.
Yep.
Totally.
A 5-point figure, kids. You heard it here. All right, next up. The Romulan Commander. He's got the Romulan and Spy keywords. He's got a trait, just one more duty to perform. If a friendly character that's adjacent or has a Romulan keyword is KO'd, after resolutions, you may deal 1 damage to all other characters adjacent to that character's square. 70 points with the Romulan keyword, which is basically Batman, so it's stealth. What you see is what you get. Dial. PJ, thoughts on the Romulan Commander?
This guy's sealed gold. Sidestep RCE, stealth, 6 clicks for 70 points, not bad. We'll never see a lick of competitive play, but otherwise, yeah, like if you pull him in sealed, you're probably pretty excited about it.
Yeah. All right, Mike.
Yeah, PJ covered that. I really can't expand on that.
All right, Jay, did you want to add too?
Nope.
Sealed gold, otherwise just more uncommon filters. All right, next up, the Klingon captain. 4,000 throats may be cut in one night by a running man. Sorry, he's Klingon and warrior keywords. Once per attack for all characters with this trait. If a friendly character that's adjacent or has a Klingon keyword hits with an attack, roll a d6. On a 4 to 6, after resolutions, remove an action token from that character. That's pretty cool. Also, the Klingon Empire team ability, when this character hits an opposing character with an attack roll of 10 to 12, after resolutions, remove an action token from this character. So crits also remove action tokens from them. And then he's got hypersonic up front, some sidestep with blades, some close combat or combat reflexes, 60 points with 6 range. Mike, what do you think of the Klingon captain?
You know, I mean, he's not so bad with the warrior keyword. There's teams you could put him on for really taking the token off. That's not such a bad idea, especially with Thor set that just came out. You've got some higher point figures with warrior who probably wouldn't mind being able to continuously act. And honestly, what?
Yeah. Skyped out for a second there.
Oh, sorry about that. With the hypersonic, that does give him the added ability to sort of do something in a turn and then reposition himself, beside another figure maybe who wants to act and potentially take the token off. So not bad with warrior, but 60 points probably puts him outside of real competitive play.
Jay.
Yeah, he looks decently casual. Not the effect is really good, but it's just on a figure that's too many points. Like if this guy did less stuff and was just cheaper and was just the trade, you would definitely see some play, but not as is, unfortunately.
All right, PJ.
Yeah, exact same boat. Too many points, but the trait's definitely worth like a 40-point piece. But take away his hypersonic and make him 40 points and he's playable.
Fair enough. Well, I mean, we could very well see something else with this trait that could be at a lower point because it says once per attack for all characters with this trait. So that could either be accounting for having multiples of them or there's multiple characters that are going to have this trait.
I don't think that's not necessarily an indicator because I think
I said it's an either-or situation.
Yeah. Well, we just saw the corrupt cop has that same wording even though it's unique, so we'll see.
Yeah. But Dave Gosselman in the chat kind of mentioned that he might be neat with the shredders.
If they ever attack.
Oh, they attack. All right, next up, we're hitting in the rare slot. Figure number 26, Captain James T. Kirk. Starfleet and Soldier keywords. He's a title character, kids.
Of course he is.
Coming in at the rare slot. So that's why that dial is ridiculously long. Unnecessarily long, and all the powers are what you see is what you get. He's indomitable with 6 range, the Federation of Planets team ability, and I got to find his title abilities. Roughly, there's a 0, or he starts with 0 title tokens, and he gets +1 for. I'm sorry, guys. I'm just gonna try to sneak my way through this. Anyway, you know what, PJ, thoughts on the dial while I'm figuring out the where the title abilities are, and I'll get that figured out in a second.
Just strictly on the dial alone, it's good. It's not great. I mean, 8 clicks for 100 points is great. Statistically, 6 range, 11 attack, 3 damage with penetrating psychic blast is okay. He has his running shot. 18 defense super senses is good, and Dom's good. Love me some leadership. But I think the title abilities are really where this guy shines. Because he has a lot of potential to be completely broken.
All right, thanks for buying me time there, PJ. All right, so his title abilities. He's got the standard penalty if he uses a title ability and doesn't attack. deal him 1 unavoidable damage. His negative is when Captain Kirk is KO'd. Friendly characters are given 2 action tokens that don't cause pushing damage. Is +1, free until your next turn. When a friendly character is missed by an attack, after resolutions, remove an action token from that character. And then his ultimate ability, Transporter, it's free like any other title ability. Choose a character on your sideline with the Starfleet keyword and a starting line for that character. You may remove 1 plot point plus 1 plot point per 10 full points of the character's cost to place that character on one of the chosen starting line in an unoccupied square within 6 squares in line of fire. A force may only have 1 character placed by this effect on the map at a time. Example, you would remove 5 plot points for a 40 to 49 point character. I like how they give you an example so you understand that it's 10 to start plus 10 per point of the character. It is limited to the Starfleet ability. So I believe we're on Mike now. Mike, the full package now.
Yeah. Interesting. It's very interesting. Definitely what was already said about the dial 100-point character with that many clicks is not bad. If in the world of playing Starfleet, yeah, there's a lot of potential with this. It's really interesting. A lot of exploiting of numbers on the map. You could really overwhelm somebody eventually. And honestly, just the his the first one, the adding the one, though, let's not spend eternity in feudal bloody violence. That's a pretty good ability in its own right. You know, you're pushed out, someone goes to attack you thinking that's the best time to get you. They miss, boom, you pull a token off that guy and take a shot back. That's pretty sweet. In spite of never playing Starfleet, he's good.
Well played, sir.
Thank you.
Jay?
Yeah, he's pretty cool. Although I don't know, competitively, feels like he'll take just too long to get going with the plot points to actually pull off Transporter decently. But then again, you have no idea what most of the set contains, so remains to be seen.
Mm-hmm. And PJ, now your thoughts with the full package on in addition to the dial, because I don't know if you mentioned full dial or full package.
Kind of what Jay said. There's not enough of the set yet to fully say if this guy's great or not. I think he is exactly what the rest of the set will be. He will either be absolutely excellent or crap, based on what kind of Starfleet pieces we see. We get one piece that's super well costed, and all of a sudden that transporter trait or power is phenomenal.
Yeah. Yeah, there's some weird stuff you can pull off too if you're patient enough with the title abilities, keeping them back and maybe healing them if you can to just kind of suck the damage at first. You can. There's so much possibility with this, and like you guys said, I'm on board with you have to see more of the set. One of the big things too is this is one of the first ones that started with 0 plot points. You've got to build everything up to get that transporter ability, in general. So, all right, next up, the M113 creature, animal and monster keywords. Its first trait, Captain's Log, the Enterprise has been invaded by a creature capable of assuming any form. Long way of saying shape change. Traded shape change. Second trait, and with the capacity to paralyze and draw the life from any one of us. Whenever an adjacent opposing character fails a breakaway roll after resolutions, deal that character 1 damage and heal M113 creature 1 click. Outside of that, it's a what you see is what you get dial for 75 points. Mike, what do you think of the M113 creature?
I like him. I look at those 75 points, though I'm not so sure it's in that sort of juggling range in my mind. But honestly, the combination with those traits, a good length of a dial, 7 clicks for 75 points, not bad. Shape change traded, and lots of ways to heal. So, if you can find a way to make him even more clingy, get some plasticity on him, he could be a real pain in the ass for people. 18 super sense is nothing to sneeze at. So I like him. And again, monster and animal, there's so much great stuff that came out in that Undead set that you can sort of work in conjunction with him, plus a couple of great things that just came out in Harley, like Jeanette, Monster, 50 points with TK. So I think there's a great deal of potential here. The points are right in that line for me where I don't know if I want to spend that much on him. Am I putting too many eggs in one basket? But no, I think there's a lot of potential there.
All right, Jay?
I just don't know if I feel like he does anything competitive. Like, yeah, the super sensitive shape change and the other trait are annoying, but you're spending 75 points for 10 and 3 penetrating. I don't see myself needing him to fill a competitive role, at least not right now.
All right, PJ?
Kind of in the same boat. I don't think he's really going to do anything competitively. Maybe if he wasn't no powers on clicks 2 through 7 in his movement slot, like if he kept sidestep or maybe had plasticity, then he'd be okay. In sealed, you pretty much have to play this guy.
Yeah.
Like he's that. I think he's just that good for sealed.
Yeah, you have to play him. He's annoying as hell for sealed, I'm sure.
Yeah.
Especially
when what we're seeing in the set.
Yeah, when you're seeing the length of the dials of people in this set and sort of what they've got going on, yeah, you totally have to play this guy at sealed.
You change super senses for 7 clicks of life. Sure.
Yeah. I mean, and PJ said, as PJ said, if we could only give him plasticity, I mean, the only way I can think of right now is the symbiote or Plastic Man's ID card, and I don't know if I feel like investing that.
I said that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Somebody said plasticity.
Okay. But he also mentioned that if there was plasticity on the dial, it would be better. And yeah, that's exactly it. He'd be more useful, more of a tie-up piece.
Yeah. I'd feel like it would be less of a waste on the symbiote if he didn't already come with shape change trading.
Yeah, exactly. But the auto breakaway added in there isn't so bad either. He gets right in there and keeps moving to somebody. So
yeah. All right. Next up, the Horta. Animal and monster keyword again.
These sets kill me, man.
Special movement power. Astonishing that anything of that bulk could move so rapidly. Sidestep and ignores blocking, breaks through it on movement. If Horta ends a move in which it moved 5 squares or less and is adjacent to a square of blocking terrain, after resolutions, it may make a close attack. It's
no kill.
No kill. It's a stop click at the end with toughness. And he's got a mixture of poison, impervious, exploit weakness, and that special the movement powers across the whole dial. Jay, what do you think of the Horta?
This is definitely, again, not a competitive piece. Like the 4 damage exploit look good, but it doesn't work with the move and attack power and 10 attack. It's just not really doing anything.
Mm-hmm. All right, PJ?
Yeah, for the other pieces we've been seeing for 100 points, I just don't think this really does it. I have a feeling there's going to be an absurd amount of penetrating Psychic Blast in this set because it just kind of makes sense. Mm-hmm. You know, everybody that's firing them phasers. So I don't know that Impervious is going to hold up too well. Again, that's just speculation, but I just don't think this piece is that good. Even in sealed, I don't think you're very excited about pulling this.
All right, Mike.
You're between a rock and a hard place if you're playing this guy.
Is it a rock and a hard or a rock and a hot place?
Yeah, I don't know, but pass.
I want this guy with Starfleet security red shirts, though. You're not going to get anything out of the enhancement on them, but that stop click plus not dying is going to make him incredibly frustrating to kill. Otherwise, that's just like dreams at the highest order. All right, next up, Charlie X. Cosmic keyword. Charlie Evans is his real name. I don't know what that matters for anymore. He's got a trait, don't laugh at me. When Charlie X is the only target of an attack that misses after resolutions deal the attacker damage equal to its printed damage value. It's got sidestep, willpower, super senses, and prob. It's 40 points, 6 range. Jay, what do you think of Charlie X?
I feel like there's some potential here, although you really need a way to give him higher defense numbers, and it's not as easy to give like reflexes and energy shield out now. If this guy was around when the box was, that would have been pretty awesome. But as is, I think there's something going on here, but it needs some work.
All right, PJ?
I actually like this guy quite a bit. The fact that he has on-dial prob for just his low point value is good. So it's also less incentive to try and pump attacks into him because obviously missing him is very, very bad. So I could see this guy seeing play. He has Cosmic keyword, you know?
Yeah.
I don't know that there's a whole lot of low point value Cosmic prop users. So I think this guy may end up seeing a little competitive play, but probably not going to be breaking the meta anytime soon.
No. Mike?
Yeah, they covered it. There is some potential there, Cosmic, to get that prob with a lower point figure. If you could boost his defense, you could be super annoying. So, not so bad potential, but yeah.
I think he's actually more likely to have his trait trigger on his last 2 clicks than his first 2 clicks because the super senses turns an attack into a miss.
Yeah.
So there's a way to give him super senses up front, or at least, like Jay was suggesting, maybe some incredibly high defenses.
I mean,
sure.
Yeah, you could use the Supreme Intelligence and click it onto super senses.
Ma Hunkel could give him an 18.
Yeah.
Here we go.
Yeah.
Ma Hunkel.
And he is the lowest Cosmic prob.
Yeah. All right. Next up, Uhura. And this is the Mirror Universe Starfleet Assassin and Spy keyword character. Trait Assassination of Superiors is a common means of advancing in rank. Free, choose an adjacent opposing character of 100 points or less. That character can't use defense powers until the beginning of your next turn. She's got the Mirror Universe team ability, which incidentally is everything about Mystics. Penetrating damage and retaliation on attacks, but it is also uncopyable. Mixture of blades and super senses is your typical scratchy, dodgy type character that they make. PJ, what do you think of Uhura?
She's okay. I don't like that it's 100 points or lower for a super rare slot. So she's all right. In sealed, you definitely play her. She pushes pretty well, losing in attack value but gaining flurry. I think is always a fair trade. But I think ultimately the lack of move and attack kind of sets her in play of not ever doing anything.
Okay, Mike.
Yeah, mediocre figure. It's kind of like you're looking at her hoping to do more with her than you'll probably actually end up getting to do with her for 75 points. Pull her unsealed, sure, why not? Because of that solid 11 attack up front with damage potential. But other than that, I would never bother with her.
All right, Jay?
She should be decent and sealed considering that the highest point character we've seen so far is 100 points, so she should be good there. But otherwise, she feels just a little overcosted considering. I think the problem is that the trade is hard to cost as far as efficiency goes. That's probably part of the problem.
I think the trait went up in price when they realized how good Nick Fury was. Let's not kid ourselves. It's a neat character, but I want to go to my face quickly to briefly check something. And there it is. This could be. Can we get to turn 8 with Captain Kirk?
Well, if you use the penguin, you can.
Because there's our 8 token transporter calling, maybe. I'm stretching at best to make her even better, but she is what she is. Overall, the set looks very much its own sort of thing. We're not looking at the level of Turtles where Ninja Turtles was had its few outliers. But again, we're still at the early stages of looking at the set. We haven't seen everything. We could end up seeing something that becomes a sealed nightmare or a actual game bomb. So in the end, it's so far it's looking like an all right fun set. But for those of you who are strictly looking for casual play, we haven't seen anything yet. Or looking strictly for competitive play, sorry. We haven't seen anything yet that's going to strike the gong other than the triples. All right. And we didn't do our weekend review yet because it was another WKO week for a lot of us. Boy, was it ever a heck of a weekend. So we're gonna let Jay start. Jay, I think you were only available to judge the WK at 401. Just overall, without giving away too many results, how was your experience with judging it this time around?
I judged. I watched some really good games, really fun, close games. Everybody looked like they had a good time, thankfully. It was a good time as far as judging goes, I guess. Not really much to say beyond that, considering that I have some people here that were playing there.
Fair enough. All right, PJ, you hit yourself up one.
Yeah. So I went and played at the WKO in Kenosha, Wisconsin, and there were 13 people, and I missed top 8. I got 9th on a point tie, and we both had exactly 415 points after 3 rounds, and apparently his next tiebreaker was better, but I wasn't too heartbroken. I did open a Chase Wonder Woman. I was also given a consolation Superman booster for getting 9th, and got
Classic
the
Superman,
Chase. Yeah, like the old Superman set.
Oh wow,
The Oreo based Superman set,
Yeah.
but and I got the Chase hoodie Superman out of there, so that was cool. Also got a random Colossal Sinestro given to me there. So all in all, kind of worth the drive. I just want to also add, I played in a release event Saturday. But with the 4 sealed boosters I bought, and then the 4 leftover boosters, I pulled a total of 2 Chase Wonder Womans and a Chase Flash out of all those 8 boosters.
Oh my God,
It was a good weekend for me.
that ginger luck, man.
So other than that, dice rolls don't always cooperate with decent pulls. Oh, for what it's worth, I played the Chase Wonder Woman with the uncommon Big Barda, Kite Man, and the 35-point Dr. Holly Quinn, who is just absolute garbage, but it was the best filler I had. So really, it was just Kite Man and 2 big beaters. But when you're crit missing with Barda once a game, literally once a game, and then missing a 5 with your Wonder Woman on the Alpha Strike, you just can't win. So it happens. It's a dice game.
Fair enough. All right, myself and Mike, we hit up the one at 401 Games and the one over at Jackson Queen. So we'll start with Jackson Queen down in Elmvale, and then we'll go to the one at 401 Games. How's that sound, Mike? All right, so how about you start with Jackson Queen?
Yeah, so Jackson Queen, big shout out to the people up there, Kim and her husband, and everybody who ran the event. It was a great little venue. It's in Elmvale, Ontario. It's about an hour 15, hour and a half drive north of Toronto. Though with Toronto traffic conditions, that could be 5 hours. You never know. Anyway, and they were super nice too. They were really excited to have us up there. I think it was 24 players turned out for the event. They had food for us even. They had a little spread in the corner of snacks and stuff, which was super nice. Right away, I had played in just a release event on the Thursday night, and I'd pulled a super rare prime in that. So I was already feeling really good about kind of what pulls were going on for me and Harley. So I opened my boosters, and what came out? Chase Wonder Woman. So feeling pretty good about that right away. But I was in a tough power situation. I actually had kind of 2 really power pieces and nothing to really sort of move them around with. But I kind of went with them anyway. So my team ended up being Chase Wonder Woman, the Big Barda, not the Prime, Dr. Holly Quinn, and everybody's favorite mesh shirt guy, Big Tony.
Big Tony.
Let me tell you something. If you're playing sealed and you pull Big Tony, play Big Tony. There's no reason not to play Big Tony at 15 points for that perplex. He is way, way more useful than you have any idea. In fact, in the past 4 days, the 3 different sealed events I played at, every one of my teams had Big Tony on it. So first round, I played against a local person who plays at Jack's normally, Ian Chappelle. Super nice guy. We actually had a really fun game. He said it was actually his first real competitive tournament. So we had a lot of fun in our game. We talked a lot about the game and the powers and how things were working out. I won map choice. I chose Manhattan Bridge to really kind of keep things consolidated, because my team's really all about running and gunning with Barda while Wonder Woman gets in your face, and make sure that any of the outwit that's in the game is useless, because you're going to be within 6 of Wonder Woman every time. He couldn't really do anything to stop my strategy. He got some shots off. I think he actually killed one of my characters. I think he might have gotten Harley Quinn there. No, he did manage to kill Barda. I kept pushing her a lot, but I came out of that game full points in the end. So second round, I faced off against another local person. I don't remember his last name, Brandon. I apologize. But another good game. I can't remember what his team was either. I apologize. There's been a lot of clicks this weekend, man. A lot of clicks. I meant to take pictures and take notes because I knew this was going to happen. Yesterday is a lot more fresh for me. So we had a closer game. Map choice was huge, man. Let me tell you something. Map choice this weekend really highlighted for me how important map choice is. And my last story will really highlight that. So anyway, I managed to pick a really good map for me. I controlled the situation really well. It was seeming back and forth for a while, and then I got some big hits in, and I just tore apart his team. So 2-0 at this point. And then I come up against this guy. This guy was always wearing this this hat with this dragon thing on it. I don't know what it is. Iron something or other, fisting something.
Oh, the one with the really bad Netflix show, right?
That's the one. Yeah. So
I know that guy. I hate that guy.
I hate that
the guy
guy
wearing
too.
the hat.
That's
and the
right.
guy with that show, but
that's right. So yes, Mr. Collins and I faced each other in the third round, and without spoiling the rest of his team, he too had Chase Wonder Woman. So this was a chase off, as it were, chase off. Wow, this was tough. And what was really interesting is for a long time, Jason and I have played a lot of games over the years, and for a long time, I had an edge because of a curse. We don't know where the curse came from, but every time Jay got in a game with me, his dice would tank like nobody's business. Like, you have no idea how bad his dice would be. It was very frustrating for Jay, and I felt bad because he's an amazing player, and he would outplay me in these games and still lose. So our game had some of those elements. I mean, we had a lot of standing off. He picked a really smart map with this section of elevated. I got the first hit in. I hurt his one of his valuable figures. Again, I don't want to spoil his team. And but he managed to pull back, and it was a very like standoffish positional thing. And then I got into a position, and I felt like, okay, you know, stuff's going to happen. And then a whole slew of chaos occurred. We were all up in each other's face, and Jay's dice decided to say, and they really tanked on him.
man.
His team started crumbling really fast. But then he pulled off a wonderful roll, and suddenly the map was really crowded. Again, I don't want to spoil anything, but the map got really crowded, and I think something like 12 attacks suddenly occurred. What? And I was just like, what? I squeaked out the win. I literally squeaked out the win, man. Like, I couldn't believe what just happened there. It was a great game against a great competitor. I felt bad about the tough dice early on, but those 12 attacks, though, those were some hot dice. Some of it. Fourth round, I faced off against a local from our area, Jimmy. Good, solid player. He's been in the top before. In fact, he won our recent league for the Greater Toronto area. And he had a very difficult team with 3 outwits centered around a Giganta. And I had to be really careful. We got the roller derby map from the Harley set because there's a lot of hindering there to hide in. I started off actually really well. I took out his title Joker. I took out his Scarecrow immediately to get rid of the free smoke cloud that he kept putting underneath Giganta so that she was always in stealth. So I immediately went and took out the Scarecrow, took out Title Joker, took out Giganta, but all of a sudden his Arkham Doctor and Common Batman, still in his top click, started ripping me apart. It was crazy. Don't underestimate that Arkham Doctor. And he won. I was running around with Barda. She was off running shot. Wonder Woman was long dead, and Barda was just running around the map trying to stay alive long enough to maybe win on points, and it didn't work, unfortunately. So, but 3-1 with the number of people turns out was enough to make it in to the top 8 cut. So I don't know if Jay, you want to talk about maybe your Swiss experience until the top 8, or you want me to keep talking about my top 8?
Go straight to the top 8.
So my first round top 8 matchup was with a good friend of mine, Sharif, who was actually my ride up there. So this was obviously going to be awkward because one of us was going to knock the other one out. He had a team that was all about the numbers. He had like Stargirl, the Sinestro Corps, excuse me, Scarecrow, Big Tony, Catwoman, the Bombshell one, and Manhunter, regular Manhunter. So he was playing the numbers game, like lots of perplexing. He very effectively used those perplexes to bring down my defense to like 15 a lot, especially on Harley Quinn, to keep hurting her with the trait. But the sheer power of my team and the whole awesomeness of Wonder Woman negating the outwit, I just overwhelmed him with power. So every time I managed to get a successful hit, I'm pretty much wiping out a character on his team. So it just became boom, boom, boom like that, and I took the win. Then my next matchup, so top 4 now. So I was feeling really great. You know, I've got a chase. I'm now in the top 4. This is awesome. I faced off against Rory Rudd. Used to be a more local player. He's since unfortunately not in the same city anymore. Great longtime player. I won map choice, and oh man, I don't know what I was thinking. So I picked the new Thor map that's like, it's like the arena or something. So it's got this sort of ring of elevated around it and like a lower area with some blocking chunks. And in my head, I thought that this was a good choice for map. It was not. His team had Mira, 2 Manhunters, a Harley Quinn, the Secret 6-1, and a Scandal Savage. He took the high ground. I got 1 hit on Mira. I got rid of her TK, thinking, okay, that's I'm in good shape now because he's less mobile. But I had already tried to advance on him because I didn't want it to go to a roll-off, and he'd already killed Harley Quinn. So I'm down to 35 points. I'm nothing but pressured to come at him. He's got the high ground with these Manhunters, and he's the smartest thing he did. He never put Range Combat Expert into damage. Because of Precision Strike, he hit every time. So he just one-hit click, one-hit click, one-hit click. Boom, Wonder Woman's gone. So, yeah, I lost that one. I got my ass handed to me. And the whole time I knew map choice, map choice, map choice. Like, I was pretty pissed at myself for that. So, but I ended up 3rd overall, which was a great feeling. Again, I got a chase that gives me everything, almost everything except for like the Shadow Cat. And it was a great time, great venue. So, yeah. Jay.
Yeah. One thing I got to say, I've never left a gaming store or comic store and had to say, my gosh, what a beautiful washroom. Because most gaming stores have a washroom akin to the dungeons we all crawl in our D&D games. But that said, wonderful venue, very accommodating. Like Mike said, they had a whole snack smorgasbord and tray out there for us, and very welcoming venue. So my pulls, and the ones I played, they were very the very obvious plays. I pulled a Wonder Woman chase myself. I pulled an Enchantress in that pack as well. And I also pulled the title Harley Quinn. Very good figure. Don't poo-poo that character. She's got a lot of potential. Yeah, if she dies, she gives your opponent something great. Just don't let her die. And I also, on my team, used a mercenary and a hive trooper to make up those last couple points or get myself closer to 300 in the meantime. Of course, a hive trooper also, I kept saying he knew his job, and his job was empower for Wonder Woman. My first game was against a local player, Joshua, a much younger player, very enthusiastic. Every hit was a shout. Every miss was an even louder shout. Because let me tell you, well, where Mike critically missed, at least, or sorry, PJ was saying every turn or every game, his Barda would critically miss. That was my Wonder Woman's job in this tournament, was critically missing in every single round except for one. And first attack every time too. And even, you know, I mean, that's one of those things I always say. I wish I had prob, because I had a double perplex and a single perplex possible, and none of that's going to stop me from critically missing, right? So anyway, so he had a Harley Quinn bombshell. He had the female Robin. He had Queen Bee, and he had a Poison Ivy. And this is he had the strategy of youth, which was go forward and see what I can do. He took the first turn to try to bring out a bee with the Queen Bee, and probably should have waited a little later for that, to be brutally honest, just to keep his team a little together, because I was able to just get his figures one at a time, and then eventually kill his Queen Bee. But I mean, like I said, when my critical miss in this case, I had a 15 attack with my Wonder Woman, and I critically missed on a 18 defense. So that was good for a laugh. My second round was against Trevor, who we've seen in a couple of our own local events. He's local to that store, so it's nice to visit him on his home turf. His team consisted of a Manhunter, a Catman, a Scandal Savage, a number of things. And it was just a matter of making our way through the game and doing as much possible damage as I could with the Wonder Woman, who I had a feeling wasn't going to make it through that game and didn't. But damage was already done with her, and in addition to the damage being done with her, I think I paid for my mercenary and triplicate in one single attack at one point. Because, guys, the mercenary has 2 damage with a ranged combat expert with a 10 attack. If I happen to have enhancement or perplexes to go with that, worth it, if you ask me. The figure will pay for itself. But this game did come down to a late or mid game or late game. I got the Harley Quinn title character to 6 title tokens, dropped 6 title tokens, rolled a 4. So I brought out 4 Harleys, and those Harleys were 8 attacks to really kind of start to bring the game in my favor. One of those things is you look at these Harleys, and none of their actions count as your action total. They'll have flurry. So when you're rolling 8 attacks, it doesn't matter if they're 9s to hit. Eventually, one of them's bound to hit something, and if the character doesn't have any defenses, that's 2 damage that I just free actioned into existence. So I can't complain about that. So the Harleys, as they do, turned the game around for me and brought me out the win on that one. My next round was against Mike, and as he described, he did win. It was my Harley Quinn that rolled a 6 with the Harleys. That's where the 12 attacks came from. My Wonder Woman, God bless her, critically missed. I had a really good attempt with the Harley Quinn to try to score some early points, who also missed and kind of left me in a lurch. So I tried to heal her up with the Enchantress, because I was really good at getting the support when I guess needed it in that game. But ended up not being able to pull that one off. I only had Enchantress and Hive Trooper by the end of it, and Mike still had the Big Barda and something else, but I did manage to get down the Wonder Woman. Anyway, so we move into the 4th round, and anybody there will refer to this as the divorce game. I had to play against Amber in the 4th round, and we're both on the bubble. The loser of this is not going to make it. And Amber had the Shazam Chase, the Jeanette, and what was the other thing she had? It was Shazam, Jeanette, and Zatanna. Did lots of prob. She had range on me, or reach on me rather, and man, she have a beefer of a character. So the first couple turns were spent posturing, me trying to stay out of, oh my goodness, single target pulse wave range. I just need to make sure If Shazam is going to pulse wave, he's going to pulse wave multiple targets. I'd also try to stay away from walls as best I could, or any blocking terrain. So I was able to scrunch up the distance and keep the only characters I wanted Amber trying to attack were my Harley Quinn or my Enchantress, because their defenses were huge, and being able to use hindering terrain in this sense kept me kind of safe. And then I was able to charge forward with my Wonder Woman on the Shazam. And the Wonder Woman has that wonderful trait against deities, which didn't really factor in until the second attack because I critically missed the first attack. As my Wonder Woman was to do. But, you know, the second time I made the attack, I was able to get 3 damage off of the Shazam and take away that pulse wave threat and then slowly work my way forward. Eventually getting Harley's out as well in this game to work out all of her smaller characters. Amber had a Sophie's Choice at one point. I hit doubles with my Harley Quinn on her Zatanna, and because Mystical is a shared keyword between her and Jeanette, it was like, do I take the damage on Jeanette or do I take it all on Zatanna and lose? Because Zatanna was going to die because Enhancement was next to her. So she ended up taking the damage on Jeanette, which was a very clever player, very smart play on her part, keeping her prob alive and allowing some pulse wave to exist with Jeanette. I was just able to overwhelm with the number of attacks and number of actions I was able to take and win that game and have my wife very angry at me on her birthday.
On her birthday.
On her birthday. Yeah, like I didn't hear it there. All right. So we get to the top 8. I'm against Matthew Ryan. Those of you who are familiar with our patron hangouts, he is a regular to the patron hangout. He's been a patron with us for a long time. And Matt's team was tough, man. He was able to basically neutralize my Wonder Woman with Lashina. That's a problematic character for my team, let me tell you, because that Wonder Woman does a lot of my work for me. So it was a matter of trying to kind of sneak my Wonder Woman around because Lashina's 3 squares does still require a line of fire. So I was able to get behind. He also had a Nightshade on his team. So it was Nightshade, Lashina, Batman, and the Sinestro Cord Scarecrow. Like, this was a tough team. I blocked myself a lot with line of fires. Like, I made some silly positioning errors that he was able to capitalize on. So the long and the short of it is, I got the Wonder Woman around, killed the Nightshade. He just slowly poked my Wonder Woman, but never got it dead. And my Enchantress was able to support my Wonder Woman and keep her alive. And on last action, by the time was called, I was in the lead, and the last action just got me more points. It was a great game against Matt. It was probably the one that got me the closest, took me the closest to the edge. If he had Energy Explosion or some kind of pulse wave, I was dead. And lucky me, he did not have that option. So from there, I go to the top 4. Top 4, I'm up against Devin. Devin's team's very similar to Trevor's in the fact that he's got a lot of guys with Catman and Scandal Savage, but he's also got a Granny Goodness on his team as well. He was very mean. Had a lot of mean words to say to his Granny Goodness. She wasn't doing much apparently for him. So we went to war, and I eventually came to a head in the middle where I was able to charge forward with my Wonder Woman, get my Mercenary in the way, and just keep lines of fire blocked and charge range blocked for my Wonder Woman. And I just methodically took apart whatever I could and was able to get the win on this one as well. I don't think I got the Harleys on this one, but I think this was. No, it was the game against Matt was the one time I actually used the Energy Explosion from Harley. That +3 attack Energy Explosion, whew. that was a breaker for me, man. That was great. But then I got to the final against Rory after my win against Devin, and let me tell you, this was the first game I played my team correctly. See, what I could have been doing the whole time is every time Enchantress rolls support, when the Enchantress was rolling support, I could have been having Harley Quinn on her second click. I could have tried to use support to heal her, just collect the title tokens, and then take the phasing Enchantress, move in the middle of their teams, and just drop Harleys on them and see how that goes. And the first time I do it and play correctly, what do I roll for the Harleys? But a 6. So I've got 12 attacks again coming at Rory's team. I critically missed with one of my Harleys that killed itself, but I was able to just break through all of Rory's team in a single turn. And he had, at this point, Mira and Scandal Savage left, and it was just a matter of finishing up the game from here. Rory played kind of back. He didn't want to just get blasted by my team, but at the same time, he was able to react if I got close to him. He could have got the jump on me. Whoever got the jump was going to get the win on this one. And because my jump happened to include 6 Harleys, I won. Now, I got to say, this is one of the more unique events that I've won, because not only did I get the prizing for this event, I'm now armed. This sword you see here was part of the prizing at the event. Oh my gosh, this is cool, but this needs to leave my life. I don't know where I'm going to keep it. I don't know what I'm going to do with it. I might be, this is one of the coolest, most unique extra prizes I've gotten from a Heroclix tournament. But my goodness, man. My goodness. All right. So then we find ourselves on Sunday. I'm going to tell my story of 401 because it's much shorter than Mike's this time. I'm having won at Jack's in Elmsvale, which once again was a great time. Kim and Tim, the guys running, or the couple running the store, fantastic hosts to the event. They're very, very focused on making everybody happy, keeping everybody pleasant, and occupying everybody as best they could. And they run one heck of a great little store in a great little town. So thank you guys very much for hosting and being wonderful hosts for the event. But we go to 401 games, which was yesterday. I don't pull nearly close to as good as I pulled on the Saturday, to tell you. I will. I ended up using 2 Stompas. What was it? What's her name? Knockout, a Mahunkel, and what was the other thing I had on my team?
Common Harley and
Bud. It did not go as well for me as I thought it would. I played the crap out of it. I won some games. I took some teams to the wire, but my goodness, round 1, I was up against my memory. Oh, I'm getting old now. Round 1 is against Trevor, who I guess got his much needed revenge from Elmsvale, and I mean, it was going pretty good for me. I was getting attacks. Stompa is great as long as she hits, and the first game she wasn't hitting. But she was outwitting, which was an important part, because that Superman enemy team ability, when you copy it with knockout, gets me some outwits on my team. Problem is, he had stealth on his team, so it was only good for a couple characters here and there. And when Stompa hits, Stompa also allows an additional quake. But she was not hitting this game. And then late in the game, when I thought I was getting a little closer to edging out a possible win, that's when Trevor's team stopped rolling dice to do damage to me. He had the Scarecrow, the Sinestro Corps Scarecrow. He had poison on the regular Scarecrow. He had the rare Joker, the female Joker, who was able to take a power action and do damage. And it all started to fall apart when we didn't have to roll dice to do damage anymore. So lost that game. Second game was up against Richard Evan, a local player to Toronto. It's my first time playing against him. He's been playing for a long time, apparently, and is a fan of the show. So it was a pleasure to meet a fan. And this was the game where I found out what Stompa does. He went out there. He had his Batman out there. I used Mahunkel to gain myself 3 extra squares on my Stompa's movement, because basically I sidestepped out, double power action with Mahunkel, and then charged with my 2 Stompas. And then, you hit, and then you quake. And then you hit, and then you quake again. And that just adds up very quickly. So I was able to take out the Batgirl, Bombshell Batgirl, and his Batman. And then it was just a matter of fighting my way through a Prime Barda. And, man, he made 2 attempts at the move and attack with her, and they both failed. And I feel bad because, like, he needed a 4, 5, or 6 on both. So it was literally the definition of a 50-50 shot, and he missed them both. And I slowly, eventually got the Big Barda down. Got rid of his last character, I believe, was a Batwoman. No, Big Barda was the last thing, but I did get rid of the Batwoman as well. And I fought my way through as hard as I could and ended up getting the win on that one. Third round was up against Jarrett Duffy. His pulls, let me tell you, his first pack, he opened a secret 6-pack with a King Shark and the other a bunch of other secret 6 guys. His second pack opens another King Shark. The score, I only scored 50 points off of him, but the score was not reflective of how close I took him. It was really like a missed quake to find whether or not I even had a chance of winning. And if I would have hit that quake, I would have killed 2 of his guys, which would have put me another 50 points up. I couldn't squeak that out. So I got overwhelmed by a pair of King Sharks. Of course, he won map roll, and of course, he put us through the Turtles lair with a lot of water. So I definitely had the, oh my gosh, I've just got to let him hit me syndrome. So I tried my best to make sure whatever he was trying to hit had a chance of getting out of there, be it either Bud or Harley. You get the shape change rollouts. Let's see how that goes. But 7s were his number to definitely hit. And it wasn't until late game that he started missing that I was able to start getting some action. Fourth round was up against James McMaster, who got second at our ROC Provincials. And this was just silly. This game was silly. This game was so silly because the both of us have written ourselves off. We're both 1 and 2, whatever. Let's just play. I ended up winning this one because I was able to outwit his outwits with my Superman enemy outwit that he was trying to use his outwit from his Superman enemy outwit, because of the new outwit rules. I can outwit his outwit. And able to get my charges and stompas and eventually work my way through his team. It was a fun. I had a ton of fun playing with him though because we both on off button, right? But let me tell you, much to my surprise, one of the top 8 had to leave, so he dropped. I was in 9th place before the top 8 cut. I made top 8 with my trash. But of course, when you're in 8th place, you got to play with the first place seed, who happened to be Patricia Lamb, who was joined by Nick Peterson in Toronto. And this game is just not worth mentioning. I just got absolutely mollywopped. I knew my team didn't deserve to be in the top 8. There was a reason I wasn't initially going to make the top 8. Whatever, man. I was surprised to get the prizing, get the top 8, and playing against Patricia. I didn't take anything from anybody by trying to go and win. So long and short of it is my team didn't deserve to be where it was. Prometheus was going to murder my team. Not only that, she won the map roll, put me in the castle. My completely immobile team wasn't getting anywhere. But it was still, I made a game of it. I did the best I could. I turtled in a bunch. But the second Mahunkel was dead. It was a long walk to death for me. That was the end of my day at 401 Games. I went out to dinner with my wife for her birthday and apologized all weekend for round 4 of the Swiss at Elmvale. Let me tell you. Mike, how's your day at 401?
Well, it started off great. I gotta say, the Harley set has been really kind to me. It's sealed. I pulled the Super Rare Prime at the release. I pulled the Chase at WKO yesterday, and then yesterday I pulled Super Rare Nightshade, Prime Kirk DePaul, or Paul de Kirk, whichever it is. I never remember. Yeah, Kirk DePaul. So right away, I've got a Super Rare and I've got a Prime. So that felt pretty sweet. I paired them up with Scandal and Knockout, who are fantastic together, especially because I love to take Big Tony's Underworld TA, have her copy it, and carry her girlfriend around. It's awesome. It's so much fun. I can't even tell you. And then I filled it out with Stargirl, because Perplex is huge. Huge. If there was anything I've learned in the games, especially the games from Saturday with this set, Perplex teams, heavy Perplex teams are big winners in this. To be able to fiddle with the numbers like that, it's big time. So My first round was against a really good friend of mine, actually probably one of my closest friends in Heroclix, Sean Chu. Used to be a local judge, and for those of you who've been to Origins, he had the crazy Dreadpool team in Worlds last year that
The one
a
that
lot of
everybody
people.
was talking about.
Yeah, you know, he had that awesome team. So Sean's a great player. We often play test together. So I knew it. I just knew we were gonna be matched up against each other first round, and sure enough, we were. He had a team that was basically Queen Bee, that common or uncommon Batman, whatever, common Batman, which is the the either sidestep or willpower, running shot, 11 attack, 3 damage, outwit. He had I think it was GCPD. He had the Holly Quinn, I think. Yes, he had the Holly Quinn, and he had Mahunkel. So Sean's a great player. I picked the same map that ruined me with Rory's team. I actually picked this time because with Kirk DePaul, I kind of want a map with a little bit of high ground from places to shoot on. I took full advantage of Nightshade's trait. Really, when I built my team, I knew right away that what I was going to be doing every game was using Nightshade and Kirk DePaul together. Because Nightshade, she just, for free, you put her in hindering within 5. Now, if you want, you can take a power action, place another friendly with it right next to her in hindering. Boom. So she just brings Kirk DePaul forward. He sidesteps up too. I've already thrown a bunch of perplexes on him from Stargirl and Big Tony. He picks range combat expert or close combat expert, whatever I need, and does a big hit. Very effective. Sean, though, played super smart. His positioning made it really hard for me to be getting shots off. And then he came in with a surprise attack with the Queen Bee. Now, if you're not paying attention to what her special mind control power is, it's like energy explosion mind control. So I'm thinking, fine, she's got triple targets, but almost everybody on my team has stealth. Well, she manages to target Big Tony on he's pretty much sacrificing Queen Bee. He throws her way out, but he targets Big Tony and then also gets my Kirk DePaul and my Nightshade and mind controls all of them. And I am so lucky that his dice did not decide to give him the big hits that he would have got. He did a little bit of damage to Nightshade, but didn't take her out. I ended up kind of steamrolling him after that, and I took, I think, max points right at the end. Once the ball was rolling for me, I just started boom, boom, boom. I got my whole team now on the other side. I'd actually snuck around with Knockout carrying Scandal, and all of a sudden was right on the backside of his team, jumped across with Nightshade and the rest of the team, and just crushed him in between. Second round, Sharif and I played each other again. So another buddy and somebody I played the day before. His team was Supergirl, Bombshell Batwoman, and Paul Kirk, the regular Manhunter. So I'm already like, yeah, Supergirl. So I can't hide in stealth. And you're just going to hypersonic in and punch me in the face a lot. Okay, well, I picked that same map, I picked the roller derby map to at least give me lots of places to hide from his other 2 people on his team. And I sort of just got myself in position, ready to do the whole Nightshade thing, to either pull Knockout forward for a charge or Kirk DePaul. He moved his team up into position to come after me. He didn't want to push, so he sort of waited a turn. I jumped all over that, and I actually managed to kill his Manhunter in 1 turn and position Knockout and Scandal right beside him. He went after Scandal with Supergirl and missed. I then jumped on Batwoman and killed her in 1 turn. So now it's Supergirl against my team. And still, I mean, it's Supergirl, right? Like, she's just going to hypersonic around and punch people and 1-hit kill them. Yeah, no, his dice just said no. Basically, the game was, and Supergirl misses. And Supergirl misses. So I felt pretty bad for him that it happened that way. Everything worked right for me. Everything I planned out. Every time I went for big hits, sidestep. All of a sudden, I've got a 14 attack doing 5 damage with Kirk DePaul. And I think he never even got an impervious roll in that whole game. So it was another big full point win for me. Round 3, Patricia Lamb.
No.
She wins map roll. She chooses Arthur's Castle. I definitely could have played it better. I made a stupid move early on thinking that she was about to Pulse Wave Scandal, and I sidestepped. Could have actually sidestepped into more hindering, but sidestepped out of hindering, and Stephanie Brown for 5 damage destroyed Scandal in 1 turn. So now the pressure's on. I'm trying to get to her. She's got great positioning on the roof. I did manage to take out some figures on her team, and it basically came down to Big Tony and I think the Mercenary, or sorry, not Big Prometheus, and I think the Mercenary was left. Stephanie Brown was dead, and Big Tony was dead, but she won. Amazing player, you give her a figure like Prometheus and another source of Perplex, and amazing things can happen. Let me tell you, I faced a Prometheus the other day and annihilated him in a turn, and I thought he was completely overrated, and she really showed how to play this figure. So hats off to her on that win. And then my last game was against Jarrett and the crazy double King Shark, double Catman, Jeanette, and Scandal Savage team. He wins map roll. He picks the turtle map. I know what he can do. I know how far this guy can go. So I just stay back. I just stay exactly the distance I know that will extend one of his sharks out. He can get a hit off, but I jack my defenses up. He moves into a position now. I have already shot a wall to create more hindering for myself. I now jump forward with Nightshade. I bring Knockout forward. Scandal walks up so that she can now get carried by Knockout. Knockout goes charging, or sorry, no, actually, I didn't carry her. Knockout goes charging in with an object. 1 hit kills one of the sharks. Scandal now comes up in bases, and I've got 2 people tying up his whole team. And he decides to go after Scandal. He manages to actually take her out, but he has to use everything he's got to do it, and a whole bunch of theme probs to do it. And it's this sort of back and forth thing. I look like I'm starting to run away with it. I'm doing a lot of damage, but I'm also not remembering that Kirk DePaul gets +1 damage when there's more than one person on the map with the same name. So these Catman that are now vexing me, I'm like, wait a minute. So thankfully I clue into this, but our game literally comes down, and again, much like Jay's game, we're both 2-1 at this point. So we know whoever loses this game, there's a good chance that they're out. 2-2, that's going to be a tough one. You got to be top points. And I was pretty sure it wasn't going to be me. So it literally comes down to Kirk DePaul on his last click. Jeanette is on her running shot pulse wave click. If he rolls an 8, he wins. And he rolls a 6. It was last action. I win on points, like 15 points. I win on 15 points. So I'm stunned. I end up 3-1. So I'm now into the top 8. Jarrett, though, he makes it into the top 8 as well. He actually gets right in there. He was, I guess he was 8th, and he bumped up to 7. Yeah, and he bumped up to 7 when the other person had to drop. So happy to hear that he made it in, because our game was and it was fun too. I mean, I love King Shark. I can't tell you how much I love that character. I'm so excited for him. Well, we talked about it already. So we had such a fun game. So now we're in the top 8, and I like to call the top 8. Let's play all my Swiss rounds again. So my first pairing is Sean Chu. So I know exactly the team I'm going to face. He wins map roll this time, and he picks. I'm sorry, I never remember the names of them, but it's the map with all the sliding ice and the blocking, the chunks of blocking, like Jotunheim or something like
Jotunheim
that.
Lake or something.
Yeah, yeah.
Sure.
So he picks that map, and I'm like, that's awesome, dude. Let's have some fun. We're really good friends, and one of us unfortunately is getting knocked out. So let's have some fun. I was really glad he picked that map. We actually really enjoyed it. I'm using a lot of my actions to blow up blocking terrain to keep creating hindering terrain, so I can take advantage of Nightshade's port power, because obviously there's no other natural printed hindering on that map. Objects don't count as hindering for her power, so I need to create hindering for this to work. He moves up his Batman and actually gets into hindering. He underestimates how far I can get with knockout because of the perplexes that I have, and I've got +1 to all of her stats due to the Secret 6 trait. I'm actually able to charge 7 squares, and I get into the hindering that his Batman just created because he's hoping to sidestep into it the next turn. He had to use willpower, and I managed to one-hit kill Batman because of the ice. I hit him with doubles. I do enough damage to put him on his last click, but it threw him into the wall, and I kill Batman. So now I'm up on points. But man, Sean, he took full advantage of those bees, those bee drones. And the ability that they get to sidestep because of Queen Bee. He just kept getting them in my face and tying me up. Scandal's trying to get away. He's also taking fully advantage of Harley Quinn. Don't underestimate that figure either. She's a great sealed pull. At 35 points, she fills in nicely, especially if you're trying to get 6 figures on with the Secret 6 trait. And that place on the diagonal, mixed in with sidestep, don't underestimate her. In almost every game, she's a really good tie piece. So anyway, I have to sacrifice Big Tony at one point because he's got Queen Bee in position to do a big group mind control. I know it's coming. I don't want to lose the perplex, but I can't afford this to happen. So I throw Big Tony over, hoping he can blind her with his mesh shirt. He actually manages to get a Hive Trooper over to his GCPD cop and gets that damage up high enough that the cop kills Big Tony. But I still avoid getting mind controlled. Our game goes to time, and it's 65 to 15 points. So it was a tight game. I mean, like, it went back and forth. I hit Ma Hunkle. I put her on her last click. She managed to get healed back up again with her regen. It was a crazy battle. Great game with a great friend of mine. So now top 4, Jared Duffy. So Jared and I play again. Like I said, it's rematch central for me. This time, though, unfortunately, it goes 100% in my favor. I hold back again, just boosting up my defense, basically saying, go ahead. If you want to throw yourself out here, let's go. He maneuvers up the map, and I just eat all of his guys. I know exactly how many clicks now, having played him once before. I know exactly how many clicks every figure has, how much damage to do to kill these guys, and I just dismantle his team. I kill a Catman, I kill another Catman, I kill a Shark, and I wipe him out pretty quickly and pretty handily. And his dice weren't really helping him out when he had the few attacks that he managed to get in either. So I make it into the top 2. And like I said, the rematchathon continues because it's Patricia Lamb. And I'm not feeling it. I'm pretty nervous here. I've already seen what happened last time. We roll for map, and I win map. And I said earlier on how important map choice can be. Map choice was definitely a major factor in how this game played out. I chose the office map. Prometheus showed that he could do a whole range thing against my team before, and also you got Stephanie Brown running shot. I needed to shut that down, and I needed to also give myself lots of places to hide. So I'm still doing the whole knockout carrying Scandal around thing. I'm blowing up a couple of walls here and there to create places to hide. And I'm also mapping it out so that there's always a way to jump 5 squares from hindering to hindering, and there's always 2 squares of hindering. obviously because I want to just Nightshade knockout or Nightshade Kirk DePaul every chance I get. The walls really helped slow down the action. Patricia was positioning herself well. She had her team together with nice values, but it was difficult for her to get multiple shots off. I made a huge mistake one turn in mapping out a whole bunch of things, taking some actions and pushing, only to remember, oh, wait, Stephanie Brown has stealth. Left myself a little extended, and I was lucky I didn't pay more for it. There was one moment in the game where Patricia needed like a 5 to take out one of my valuable figures, and I had prob, and then she missed twice in a row with a prob of her own, and that was the turning point. I had lost Nightshade. She lost Stephanie Brown. She lost the mercenary or Harley. Both of my attacks. So my first attack on Stephanie Brown with Kirk DePaul, I roll a crit hit, so she doesn't even get to roll super senses. I've already maxed up my damage. She takes 6 clicks and is gone. Next time I make an attack on Harley Quinn, also has super senses, I crit hit again. I do 6 damage. I take out Harley Quinn with 1 hit as well. So all of a sudden the game is looking really good for me. But then Scandal goes down. Scandal goes down a little quicker than I planned, but I was putting the pressure on. Prometheus now is having to back up. It's just him and Big Tony. I get rid of Big Tony. I lose my knockout on a big pulse wave from Prometheus, and it's basically Stargirl still on our perplex click, Big Tony and my Kirk DePaul chasing down Prometheus. Time is called, and I win 160 to 150.
Oh.
I like, we actually had to keep adding it up because our teams weren't the exact same build, and we sort of had looked what was at the side, and we weren't like, at first it was like, yeah, you won, and I'm like, did I actually just win that game? Like, I pushed myself back from the table and was just like, and then we did the math, and it's like, yeah, 160 to 150. So I pulled out a WKO win, and honestly, to win against a caliber of player like Patricia Lamb was a huge thing for me as well. She's just amazing, and I think that's the only time I've ever beaten her in a game. We played each other probably like 7 or 8 times over the years, and I can't recall ever coming out on the win on that. So crazy exciting weekend of clicks. Had lots of great pulls and great matches, and I'm so stoked for the win.
Awesome. So yeah, it's been an exciting week in WKO action for us. I've got one more myself, and I don't know, Mike, if you're going to the one on Sunday down in Whitby, a comic book addiction.
I might take a weekend off after all this click action.
BJ, you got anything around the corner?
I don't have anything next weekend with it being holiday weekend.
Yeah, that's right.
But I do have a ROC that I think I'm going to be attending on December 2nd.
Cool.
300 Modern.
Could be interesting. Jay, you coming to Whitby?
No, I don't think so, because at this point, the only prize I stand to win is Shadowcat, and I'm like, eh. And I'm assuming I'm not playing at Nationals, so I'm going to assume I'm going to judge again, so no incentive there, and it's sealed, and just overall, not much point in going if I literally have to win to get my money's worth out of it, time's worth.
Make sure you have those conversations with those people you need to have the conversations with, of course.
Yeah.
Don't assume, and then all of a sudden, it's like me. Last year, I assumed I wasn't going to be able to make it the Worlds, and then all of a sudden, things change, and now I'm able to. Was able to, so.
It wouldn't really fit in my schedule regardless, so I'm not going to force it.
Yeah. All right. So that said, guys, what do you think? This season of WKO has been interesting, fun. How you guys been with the? I've loved Harley sealed so far. Pull quote unquote crap. I probably could have played it a little better, or rather picked it a little better. I probably shouldn't have gone with double stomp and gone with some more range characters. But how you guys feel about the set overall for sealed, PJ?
I actually am loving this set for sealed. I think it's pretty balanced, all things considered. There are a few, big pulls, but again, those are in the higher rarity slots, kind of how it should be. But even if you sit down across from a Chase or Big Prime, like you have potential. So I'm glad that I got to attend some Harley sealed.
All right, Mike.
Yeah, 100% agree. I love this set for sealed. I mean, obviously because I've been having good luck with it too. But no, I think it's a very balanced set. There's always going to be a couple of anomalous figures that can really seem like power pieces, but again, they're in like the super rare and chase slots more than anything. And there were enough teams that were in the top 8 at both events I saw that were composed of nothing better than a rare. So that says a lot about a set. I think it's very balanced. I think you have so much potential regardless of what's coming out of the boosters, and lots and lots of different things to build with. And lots of fun. Honestly, it's lots of fun.
Yep. All right, Jay, your thoughts?
For my one event, I had a good time. I think I pulled. One of my rares was Batgirl, and then the other one I don't even remember. It was a good time. The only super pricey rare figure was Mike's Harley Quinn Prime, and even then, she was definitely not an auto win. And looking at all the chases again, yeah, there's not really much here that's problematic. Like even the Lex Luthor in this environment is not going to have much mastermind fodder with the 50 points we have left over. So looks pretty balanced to me, and experience-wise and watching all those games, yeah, it looks like a really good little set for sealed.
Awesome. All right, so I'm looking forward to that sealed and whippy. And we're going to move on to our fan questions now. I do want to remind everybody, check us out at patreon.com/marriedwithclicks. For the first time, we've done a patron exclusive episode. Those of you who saw, we kind of changed up the unboxing this time around. We did a sealed prep video, so you get a good idea of how we would play sealed for Harley Quinn if we would have pulled the packs that we pulled. And it gives you a little bit of an insight into our brain. But what we did for our sealed primer for the patrons only is we switched packs and decided or checked how we would build differently given the same packs. It's not a long video. It's a very quick video, but it was a lot of fun to do, and I just wanted to give something out to the patrons. And in order to get that video, you would have had to be on the patron Discord, which you get at any patron level. So check us out at patreon.com/marriedwithclicks. Check out what value you're interested in, and help support us a little further. Who knows? At this rate, I might be giving out a sword soon. I have no idea yet.
I don't want it.
That sounds like, Mike, you want it? Okay,
no,
cool.
No.
All right. Anyway, I'm going to move on to our fan questions now, starting on the Facebook. Not a lot going on the Facebook today, but we're going to start with the I got a glass on top of it. I'm using it as a coaster instead of a stamp, but we're going to put a stamp on this episode because Mr. Chris Stockhouse has a question for us. And he goes, congrats on the WKOs. Hope everyone did all the celebrating in Canada with Amber and Jay's birthdays occurring. Amber and Jay. Since it's American Thanksgiving this week, what in Heroclix are you thankful for? What Heroclix product would you most want to see get a super discount on Black Friday? I would like to see some Thor singles get a Black Friday level discount because, my goodness, I just want to be done with that set. I don't want to look at prices on that stuff anymore. It hurts so bad to look at. And as far as what I'm thankful for, the community, my goodness, is this a great community to play this game with. Beyond a shadow of a doubt, far more friendly, far more welcoming than any other gaming community I have been a part of myself. PJ?
So Black Friday discount, Thor, I think, would probably be the best Thor singles, I guess, yeah. I don't know, there's not really a whole lot I think that needs super discounted. Maybe see some $8 boosters or something would be fun. And then you nailed it on what to be thankful for with the community. But I guess to add, I'll say that I'm thankful that WizKids seems to be giving a crap more about their game. They're adding support and showing that as a company that they're willing to support their player base, which they haven't always done in the past.
All right. Mike?
Yeah, Black Friday discount. Chase Flash, God of Death. I want one. I want one. I want one. Have I mentioned that I want one?
Did you want one, Mike?
What so badly?
So it's a sword you wanted, you said?
No. Yeah, I would love that Flash. So discount on that, and always discount on Clixed. What else are we going to spend our money on? Thankful, of course, the community, and as such, I wanted to say thank you actually to the people this weekend at both WKO events who came up to me and welcomed me to the show. And said kind words about my appearances on here, and that we're doing a great job. So thank you to all of you guys. That was really kind of you, and I appreciate it. So thanks for making me feel welcome.
Welcome to the world of the pseudo Heroclix celebrityism.
Stalker, who's at my window?
It was literally just the wind. Sorry, nobody beyond a Heroclix tournament. We don't exist. Jay.
I guess starting off on the Black Friday front, I still want a couple Thor chases and Colossals. I mean, technically, I only really want the Unworthy Thor because I don't like the other Dial as much, but yeah. Because that Yarnbjorn, holy hell, there's so many figures. This is casual only, but so many figures that want to crit. Like that one star, the recent Star-Lord with a 3-out width if you crit. That is...
Oh, yeah.
When I get that Unworthy Thor, I'm probably going to play the object more than him.
That's all right. I'll lend you the object.
That's true. Got to play some long shot with the other one with the crit. Give tokens. Yeah. As far as thankfulness goes, this has been a really good set for me because, I mean, only casually, unfortunately. Pretty much every other figure is one that I really wanted. Like, literally almost every other figure. Catman was a want for a while. Out of the 4 JSA figures, 3 of them were unclicked, desperately needed, except for, I mean, I don't count Ma because she was only a pathetic pog. But yeah, overall, the attention to much needed reclicksings and unclicksings has been very good recently. So that is something to be thankful for.
Oh, cool. and can I also throw in, I'm very thankful to Jarrett Duffy for trading me one of his King Sharks. I say. Thank you so much, Jared. I so love him so much. I'm a shark. Anyway, so thank you, Jared Duffy. You're awesome.
Yeah. You reminded me that after your game with Patricia, which, oh my God, that was like one of the closest games I've ever seen. I was really happy that 4-1 got multiple kits, so I had the Shadow Cat for judging, but I was then able to trade the Shadow Cat to Patricia for the amazing new Superman chase. So it was essentially not a wasted trip on her end, thankfully. Nice. So yeah, trading is fun with people, especially locally.
See? Great community, man. That's the best part about Clixed.
I remember I was like, so you're still gonna walk away with a Shadow Cat, right? And then it was great.
All right. In the case of reopening old wounds, as in like 2-day-old wounds, Tom Van Holland asks, and I'm not going to answer this question because I've already answered it my own way. I can let you guys answer it now. How much of a savage were you to knock out Amber on her birthday? PJ, how much of a savage was I?
10 out of 10.
10 out of 10. All right.
Completely ruined her birthday.
Mike?
Yeah, it's a number above 10 because we even said to him before the game, we're like, this is already an awkward car ride. It's her birthday, man. He's like, yeah, I don't care. Like, I mean, what the hell, dude?
Whoa.
He's like, I already told her she's wonderful on Facebook. Like, what the hell, dude? Yeah, no. There's no number that adds up to how much of a douche you are. God.
Now I got to hear it from Jay.
Look at you.
I'm going to say 20 out of 10 because there was no way in hell when I saw that team that I thought she wasn't going to make the cut and then win the event. Doubly so because she totally deserved to pull Zatanna given her predilection for Zatanna cosplay. So, yeah, solid 20 out of 10 there.
Yeah.
I tried to critical miss. I did critical miss, okay?
Try harder.
Yeah. All right. We're moving to the chat now. David Gosselman of Clixed Off fame wants to know what our favorite Ryan Reynolds film that isn't Deadpool. Van Wilder for me. Though I don't know, man. I have to look away during the pastry scene. PJ.
That's kind of tough. I actually like a lot of Ryan Reynolds movies. I would probably have to go with. I actually like Blade Trinity a lot. I know a lot of people hate on that movie, but I think it's great. So I'm gonna go with that.
All right, Mike.
I'm cheating. I'm looking up IMDb. Ask Jay.
Who's Ryan Reynolds again? Oh, the abs. The abs with.
No, I know who he is, but he's been in so many things. So anyway, you ask Jay. Come back to me.
All right, Jay.
This is so a cop out because he was only in it for like literally 5 seconds, but Harold and Kumar won.
Fair enough. He didn't give you much time.
No, I know. I'm trying to remember the name of it. It's actually, I think it's called. Yeah, it's Buried. It's 2010
yeah, the
movie.
one where
That's a good one.
Casket.
Yeah, he's in a he's buried alive. Like he starts the movie and he's buried in a casket, and almost the whole movie's in a casket, and you don't know what's going on. It's intensely suspenseful. Check it out. I haven't seen it. It's a great movie.
I am so claustrophobic. I cannot watch that movie for more than like 5-minute spurts.
Yeah, dude. It'll make you claustrophobic if you're not already. It's actually, they do a really great job. It's very intense, and I know how it was filmed, and you should definitely check it out.
It was like The Descent for me in that. Like I got freaked out watching that movie in the theater because, oh man, that cave. All right. Next up, Diego Pinto de Luz. What happens if my triple is KO'd? I bring back with the Tangent Green Lantern, and the new triple makes a new triple. Guess what? You get another triple.
Yep.
That's the trouble with triples.
Wait, I thought you couldn't revive the triples because they're too few points.
No, they just have to be characters. I don't think there's a point restriction.
No, it has to be 10 or more. 10 or more?
Is it going to be 10 or more? Is that
Yeah,
literally
you get the marker for any character that gets KO, but the only characters you can revive have to be 10 or more.
Oh. Because
there are some really good bystanders. Like imagine, what's that one TMNT one, the Colossal? The one that the rabbit dude? Because you imagine bringing that guy back for a second time?
So to answer your question, if you bring back a triple with your Green Lantern, your Tangent Green Lantern, you are cheating. Dave wants to know where your cat is, PJ.
He actually didn't hang out too long today. My youngest cat jumped up on my lap with him, and he didn't like it, so he got grumpy and ran. He hasn't been back since.
God, these jokes just write themselves. He's just covered in it, guys. He's just covered in it.
Cub.
And I got a little remark more than a question. Is it just me, or is Jay? This is from Tom Dewey, who also wants another selfie with you, PJ. Is it just me, or is Jay the Simon Cowell of Metal App? No, you see, Simon Cowell is successful.
That's another 10 out of 10.
I remember I saw PJ post the other day who was going to have a better year this coming year than last year. I'm like, well, I can't have a worse year. So
I had to throw that little dig in there. And also, Emily, I do hope you win in Whitby because it would be nice for somebody else to. You earned it. You've been doing better in each tournament, Emily.
Yeah, she was third this weekend. Totally well deserving, man. That was her game was close too.
All right. On that note, I do want to thank our sponsors over at HCRealms.com. Check it out. It's the place to be when it comes to talking about Heroclix and tracking your collection. The forums where the conversations happen. The units section is the best place to track your collection, build your teams online, and just kind of keep your things together. Check out the conversation units, get some trades together, and check out the shop while you're there. While you're in the shop, put in the coupon code MARRIED for 10% off your purchase. Also, check out majesticccg.com/apex-insiders. $3 a month gets you access to some of the brains you see on this show, as well as some of the other great brains out there in the Heroclix community. Jay is a regular contributor. PJ is a regular contributor. Sometimes Patrick can cock me into writing an article, and I'm sure if I convince Patrick to ask Mike White, he might contribute some articles too. Who knows? That said, also check out MajesticCCG.com without the /Apex-Insiders for access to free articles on a regular basis. So $3 a month gets you the brain pickings and some of the best, but there's also free access to free articles on the front page without even going to the Apex Insiders. On that note, guys, it's been a heck of a week for the WKO. I know I definitely spent a lot of my time opening my bricks and opening my packs, testing out some seal, but before we get to the breaking out, PJ, anything you want to say on your way out?
Nope.
All right. Mike, how about you?
I got a freaking shark.
Jay?
I got some sand.
I got a sword. Which I really appreciate for all the jokes that I have. It's really cool. And guys, when it comes to seal, me and Amber, we took our first packs, and instead of just opening them, we opened each and every single set of packs, put them in twos, and said, how would I seal build with this? Because that's all part of the system of practice. Because practice will make your team better. Have a good night, everybody.